Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We appreciate the Steve Wilson, wild man himself, being on the show this morning, and I'm glad I got it clarified that he is not from Batesville. That's the other Steve Wilson, one of the 4 Steve Wilsons that work for the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. I hope they didn't get those checks mixed up like that when they paid them.
Really?
Yeah, but great to talk to the wild man himself. Well, we're going to talk now with he's a young man to me, but his family has, you just mentioned the Turpin name, and for all you turkey hunters and things like that, the historians out there, the listeners that know the Turpin name for over 100 years, and our good friend Steve Turpin, who's part of the staff out at Sportsman's Warehouse, which is one of our show sponsors, and had a chance to visit with Steve Sunday night at when they had the family night out there. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Larry.
Hey, buddy. It's good to see you and all the gang. I'm really excited about Sportsman's Warehouse being part of our team here on Outdoors with Larry Ray, along with Barton Power Sports, the TWRA, Gaston's White River Resort. I don't think we could have 4 better sponsors right there. And talking to Steve, and, of course, this is 5th Saturday, which means that Charlie Covington, our poet laureate, is in studio. Charlie, good morning to you again.
Present and accounted for.
Well, only one of those counts, so as long as you're present. And I'm not sure this one's present or not.
I was vice president.
You were vice president?
Yeah, sir.
I know.
Especially vice.
The vice, he was good on that. And, of course, we have Guy Trebo sitting in with us this morning. Guy's over there giving the victory sign because he's not sure what we're talking about yet, but either that or he's got to go someplace. But Steve Turpin, let's talk turkey hunting, Steve. I know if anybody keeps up with it, you just need to go. You need to like Steve's Facebook page because it'll keep you posted on what's going on, not with the Turpin call, but what have you heard from everybody?
Right now we're in kind of a little gobbling lull.
Yeah.
They'll still gobble, and that doesn't mean you couldn't go out one day and they're gobbling their heads off, but the key is just you got to go. If you can go, go. I killed a turkey the last day of the season last year. Yeah. Heard one gobble that morning and killed him, and so you've got to go.
And I know that we're we're midway. Golly, yeah, we're creeping along. The season goes through May the 15th. Am I not right on that? Yeah. Right. Which we've had variable temperatures, variable wind conditions, variable everything.
And variable rain.
And variable rain, which we've had every week, it seems like. And that just puts the mosquitoes, they love that,
Oh, yeah.
But the section that I know about in the West Tennessee section, but Steve has a chance to hunt in another area, Middle Tennessee, where most of our turkeys have relatives around here.
That's right. You had a lot of turkeys actually came roots. These river bottom turkeys were transported up to Middle Tennessee, and they brought in some from out of state to mix with the native flocks, and they've done real well in Middle Tennessee.
And you talk about real well. Steve was talking to me about the fall season. I think a lot of you folks out there don't realize that we have a fall turkey season, and it's like open gun. Because you can kill hens and you can kill turkeys. But you talked about...
Actually, the counties that I hunt in up in Middle Tennessee, it's done by county basis in the fall, and you can actually kill 6 turkeys per county.
Wow!
In some of those counties up there.
Yeah, some of them are known as a nuisance up there too.
Well, there's
they try to trap them and relocate them. Because they've just become really overpopulated in some areas.
You're talking about Wilson County, I guess, over in that area, and I'm not sure what the other counties are, but you can...
Yeah, I hunt in Rutherford. I also hunt in Williamson and Murray counties, and a lot of turkeys up there.
So you can kill 6 in one of those counties and move over to another county and 6 more.
That's right.
Goodness gracious. Okay. Well, it's... you guys in the Turpin family have been killing turkeys a long time. tell our folks, I know that one of my favorite shows of the year, and I know it is with Steve, when we get all the guys together, and Greg Ratliff loves that too. We make all these turkey noises and stuff like that, and you've probably got a yelper around your neck right now, but you got one close to you?
Actually, I do not at the moment.
Oh, really?
It's in the other room.
I thought you just went to bed with that thing around your neck and everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, well, tell our listeners a little bit about the family history, because I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it started with my great uncle was Tom Turpin. He started making calls around 1900.
Wow.
Eventually made them with my granddad, and then it went after they passed away. It went to my father, and then I began making them with Dad, and started out tuning calls for him, and then making them with him, and then eventually on my own.
And so the Turpin Yelper, is that the one that's made the name?
Yeah, well, actually, both styles. You've got the Yelper, and there's a box call. And you're familiar with Jim Cassett of the outdoor writer. And he said, telltale sign of the influence of my family's name is it's not just known as made by a member of the family, but you have a Turpin Yelper and you have a Turpin Box Call, and they're styles of call.
And this, okay. Yeah.
And so, it's different from like a Lynch style call on a box call.
Well, there's so many box calls out there, but and every one of them is supposedly, you can buy one for $30 and you can buy one for $300.
That's right.
And
the big difference is between not knocking anybody's calls, but a $30 call, I'm considering is like a mass-produced call.
Yes, yeah.
And they put them together. It makes a sound. It's a turkey call. They ship them out. And, I go through as many as 10 lids before I find one that matches up the lid to the box. So those two individual pieces of wood have to match up.
Really?
And it has to be a good sound on both sides, and it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And, again, we're talking to Steve Turpin of Turpin Game Calls right out of Memphis here, and also in the hunting department down at Sportsman's Warehouse in South Haven. If you want to go down and talk to Steve, he's always available down there at 130 Marathon Way. Look for it off Goodman Road. But the Turpin Game Calls, and I know, Steve, you were just a pup, so to speak, when you started this. Is this something that you wanted to keep going? I mean, because the name is so important.
Yeah, and it's in my blood. I was hooked on turkey hunting before I was ever allowed to go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And it was a different world back then. We were not allowed to hunt turkeys until we were 15. That was the rule.
That was your dad's rule, and everybody.
Part of that was because my father my grandfather had a heart attack and died on Centennial Island in 1959 while turkey hunting.
Yeah.
And so he felt like you needed to be a more mature age to hunt these river bottoms. That's back in the day. That's where all the turkeys were. There was none of this going into the back of some farmer's field to hunt.
Mm-mm.
There were no turkeys there. And I can remember my first turkey I killed at Shelby Forest with my dad, and people were running across the parking area at the check-in station to come look at the turkey. And to show you the difference in the population, when I first started, they killed 600 and something turkeys for the entire state of Tennessee. In 2010, they killed over 37,000.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
And like we say, a lot of these turkeys that are all over the state originated in Shelby Forest. I mean, that's right. That's the birthplace of turkey hunting, and that's where I did my first turkey hunt when I was 55. And the next year when I went out there, I was hunting, and somebody said I was in their spot. And I didn't go back to that spot at all because he looked like he'd been there for several years. Because this was, people staked out claims, and now we hear all these things about turkey hunting. And one thing I'd like to ask, and Steve has, and I have this feeling too, the 4-bird limit. Steve, I know you've got strong feelings about maybe making that 3 birds.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the 4-bird limit because it's there, but I can remember when it was a 1 turkey limit.
Yeah,
and I don't. I think 4 is too many.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to. There's been kind of a dip in the statewide population,
mm-hmm.
and I've heard some areas have been hit where some disease may have gone through, and it's.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to see it go back to like it was before it got good, and so I think 3 is a good strong number, and I think part of the problem is I think the state wants to continue out-of-state license sales, so they promote this big population 4 bird limit.
Yes, yeah.
I'd like to see them do it down to 3, and maybe reduce the fall limit too.
Well, I know that it's unbelievable now that turkey hunting is so where I was when I started, and even when you started for sure, that I never thought that we would have birds, and it's just an amazing thing. Well, Steve, thank you for being with us this Saturday morning. We'll stay in touch, buddy, and sell some stuff out there. Have a great day at Sportsman's Warehouse, and we'll try to take care of everybody down here, okay?
Okay, appreciate it, Larry.
Thank you, Steve. All right. Steve Turpin, and before we close this segment, I know Charlie makes box calls, and a nice box call. I've got one of Charlie's, and you've also made some slates, hadn't you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And have you made any Yelpers?
No, I never.
I have.
You have, haven't you? Yeah.
A wing bone.
A wing bone, yeah. He made a wing bone. Well, I know. I made a Yelper. It was a straw from Wendy's.
Yeah, you can do that too.
I
remember trapping turkeys out Shelby Forest.
I've been out there for that.
And like you froze to death. Man, it was cold.
But when they shot that net out over those birds,
yeah, you gotta get there real quick.
Yeah, you got warm real quick, and the birds got real cold.
Yeah.
And that's where they came from. It's amazing to do that. All right, let's take a break. Got Charlie Covington in studio, Gene Smith in studio, and our webmaster, guys, Trebo in studio, and of course, Greg Ratliff is trying to take care of us and everything. Be right back.
You can find